I touch my stinging cheek, tears streaming down my face. My vision blurry, I look at the man who ruined my life. With no remorse, he picks up the bottle and takes another swig, turning his eyes away from the catastrophe he created. His rough, calloused hands connect with my skin over and over again. I know that by the time he's done, I will have black and blue bruises all over my body. The beatings usually don't stop until we pass out or if we don't respond in any sort of way. This wasn't just a one-time thing. It happened all the time. My brother and I are planning to run away from this horrible place, and this man who we called Dad. V walked in at the exact moment when Dad was about to take another swing at my head. I closed my eyes, anticipating the pain, but it never came. Instead, I heard a loud thud against the wall. I opened my eyes and saw V tackling our dad to the floor. Dad was trying his best to get control of the situation by grabbing V's arms, as they repeated in a punching motion. He had managed to push V off of him and was making his way for me again. As Dad was about to hit me again, V manages to come in between me and him. Somewhere around that time, V stabbed a broken glass bottle into Dad's stomach. Someone was screaming too loud. Everything was moving fast. The police arrived sometime in the middle of the screaming. Someone cradled me in their arms, and that's when I realized that I was the one making the noise. All I remember, while my eyes were heavy, was a blurry image of a police officer putting V's hands behind his back and cuffing them. I woke up with a jolt, looking around my dark room, with beads of sweat rolling down my face, recalling that occurrence that changed my life. A reality that I wish could only be a nightmare, but a truth that I have to live with for the rest of my life, a truth that invades my mind and senses. It always comes to me in vivid images, the reds and browns all mixing with each other, the red on my brother's hands, the red on the broken glass bottle he was holding, and the red on my father lying down with his eyes closed. The red had even made its way onto the walls, making them appear to be full of life, mocking the ones that were gone. It was a scene that I would never be able to get out of my head. Our mom had left a while ago. My dad used to hit her too, and one day he drank too much and all of a sudden Mom was a demon in his eyes. He wanted to do anything possible to get rid of the evil spirits that she supposedly possessed. She had enough of bearing the torture he inflicted on her, so she left once he was knocked out by the alcohol. She didn't take us with her though, saying that she wouldn't be able to provide for us. We had lost all contact with her. I was deep in thought when a knock on my bedroom door distracted me. Miss Park, it's time to get dressed for school. Breakfast will be on the table in 15 minutes. Thank you, Liam. I'll be down there soon, I shouted so he could hear me through the closed door. I got out of bed quickly and made my way towards the closet, picking out my clothes for the day. My foster family is generous and accepting of me, but I know that I will only be here temporarily. They accepted me for who I am and the baggage that I came with. They always try to make me feel at home, but I'm scared that this behavior is only a veil that is waiting to be lifted. The Edwards provide the best of the best to me, and many times it becomes hard to accept anything from them. I've never seen such a luxury in my life. When I lived with my father and brother, my father would always spend any income we had on gambling and alcohol. Scraps of money would be left to buy any food that we could afford. V made it his mission to find work so that he could put some money aside for food and for a future where we would run away. I made my way down the stairs to be greeted by a worried expression on Miss Edwards' face, my foster mother who treated me as her own child. Honey, I wanted to remind you that today after school you're going to go and meet up with your brother. Are you fine with that? I nodded and headed for the door that led me outside. School went by slower than usual. I got some weird stares in the hallway, but I mostly ignored them. All I could think about was V and how I was going to face him. The Edwards had me going to a private school, and I wasn't accustomed to such luxury. In this new school, all the students came from rich and good families. Although they were all kind, some couldn't help but look at me with pity in their eyes. I hadn't gotten used to everything that the Edwards provided for me, and the school was no exception. Finally, the school bell rang to signal the end of the day. I slowly packed my stuff to avoid any conversation in the hallways, but maybe today it was to delay time for when I had to go visit V. By the time I entered the hallway, only a few students were lingering around. When I walked out of the building, I saw Ethan waiting for me outside to take me to the city prison. "Hello, Miss Park. I hope you had a good day at school. May I take your bag?" "Thank you, Ethan. It went by as usual, and it's okay. I'll just hold on to it. It's not too heavy." Ethan just smiled and nodded and went off to the front to drive while I settled myself in the back. I watched the city zoom by. The scenery changed from the calm suburbs to large fields and trees. The jail was located about 50 kilometers outside the city, so it took us a while to get there, but it gave me enough time to sort out my thoughts. "Here you are, Miss Park. I'll be waiting here for you once you're finished meeting with your brother." I got out of the car and looked up at the jail entrance, which was gray and dreary. It gave me chills. I know that I have to be strong. This time, instead of V comforting me when something bad had happened, it was my turn to comfort him. V has always been the best big brother anyone can ask for. He's the type of person who loves to be free like a butterfly. But his wings were cut off while living with our dad. I've never fully realized the extent and the effect of my past. I've never fully allowed myself to feel it. I let the scenes run through my head, but it almost seems like a film that is playing instead of my life. When I got inside the building, I immediately saw the lady that was present at the scene of the murder. We made eye contact and she walked up to me and asked me to follow her. Every step that took me closer to V made my heartbeat rise. After a few minutes, I was finally sitting in front of him, with a glass barrier separating us. 2 weeks of time had failed to prepare me for this moment. The second I glanced at V, sitting on the chair behind the glass with his head on the table, tears immediately welled up in my eyes. I picked up the phone that allowed us to communicate with each other. "V." He looked up with shock in his eyes. "Evelyn, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. I told them that I didn't want you to come and visit me. I don't want you to see me like this. They told me I was buzzed in to see my lawyer." He spoke with prominent anger in his voice. "But I have been waiting for so long to see you. You can't just push me away because of the incident. You have to talk to me about it." He looked surprised. This was the first time I had raised my voice at him, and I felt superior. I noticed that his eyes were red and had dark bags under them, indicating that he hadn't slept for a long period of time. Looking at him for a while made me realize that he also looked weaker and thinner than usual. "Seriously, Evelyn, I told him I didn't want to see you." "Why?" "Because I don't want you to see me like this after all that happened." "But you were always there for me. Why can't I be there for you?" "I was there for you when you used to get bullied at school or when you fell down, not when you killed someone, and I killed our dad." "V," I said with sorrow in my voice. "I didn't have to kill him. I could have just knocked him out or something, and then we would have had enough time to run away from that horrible place. I don't know what came over me. It just reminded me of that time when you weren't born yet, and Dad was hitting Mom. I felt so hopeless and weak because I couldn't do anything to help her, and then seeing him do the same to you just made me feel so angry." "V, it was an act of self-defense, and you should say that in court. Then maybe your sentence in jail would be less than if you just admit to plain-out murder." "Listen to me, Evelyn. I want you to leave. And if I get out of here, how are you sure that I won't hurt you too? You're just saying that to push me away. I know who you are. You're my brother. You have always taken care of me. You're the person I feel the safest with. How could I let you go? You're the only person I could ever open up to talk about this because you're the only one that understood what happened." At the moment, all my pent-up pain, frustration, sadness, and anger came out. I collapsed, crying, yelling, and sobbing. After a while, we both calmed down a bit. It was silent for a few minutes, but it felt like an eternity. V spoke up first. "I did what I had to do to keep both of us safe, especially you. You mean the world to me, and I couldn't bear the thought if you held the same fate as Mom did." I wanted to scream and argue with him, but something told me he had more to say. "There's no one out there to give you nightmares anymore. From what I've heard from the counselor, you have an amazing family now, and they will protect you. Anything or anyone that could have hurt you is gone. I've put them away forever. You have your life now. You can do anything you wish to do. You're free, Evelyn, free. This saw will always keep me in peace no matter where I am. I fulfilled my role as your older brother. Now, no matter what decision the court comes to, you're going to promise me that you will smile and live life the way you were supposed to. Promise me." He stuck out his pinky, reminding me of when we were kids. I stuck out my pinky as I looked up at him with tears in my eyes. Somehow, with the words he said, lightened a weight that was resting on myself and maybe on him too. His eyes looked brighter than they ever were before, a type of hope for the future glimmering in them, a future for myself. V was also a target of the pain and abuse, but he just silently endured it. Now he will never have to go through that pain ever again. He is free too. I gave him a warm smile walking outside. I looked back one last time and he was gone. As I was walking through the hallway to get to the exit, I thought about how my life was changing even in this second. I stopped by the door and closed my eyes. I didn't see red anymore. I saw white. A plain white canvas that I had control over. The colors, the images, anything my heart desired. V being far away from me would always bring me pain because he sacrificed himself so I could be free. But I know that he is safe now too. Nothing bad would come to us, and maybe soon V would be with me to turn red into white.